Hey everybody, and welcome to our rapid review of the Winter Soldier and Falcon thing.
The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Sure, it's the Falcon. There's a Falcon, and there's a Winter Soldier. First category is plot, and for this one I'm going to give it a 6 out of, probably 5.5 out of 10. 6 out of 10. If I'm grading Marvel on Marvel, like in comparison to everything else Marvel puts out, 5. If I'm grading against everything else that's out there, probably a 6. And the main reason why I'm knocking this one down is that the motivation for the villain is just not there. They tried to make a mountain out of a molehill. Like, she was played very well, she was a very relatable villain. It confused me, because I was like, oh, this is all good, but why? Why would these people resort to the extremes that they did, without giving too many spoilers away? Why would they resort to these extremes for a lack of supplies being pushed around? Proportionality in the response was a real big issue. That was a problem. Like, just the punishment did not fit the crime from the villain's perspective, so it wasn't a believable villain, and it killed the story for me. That right there killed the story. I mean, every other part of it was great. Developing these characters post-in-game, great. Everything was there, but for the motivation for the villain, and that, it really just took the wind out of the sails.
I gave it a 6 because I did like the backstories and some of the little flashbacks they did of the two main characters, but it was not...
I swear you live in the flashbacks. Like,
I know,
I don't even remember that there were flashbacks. I just know more things about these characters, but for some reason it's only subconscious. Consciously, I never remember there were flashbacks, and you're always like, the flashbacks! And I was like, what? I'm always sitting over here like, what flashbacks?
I love to see the character development of like, oh, this is a glimpse of why they are the way they are. It kind of shows more development of their character. That's, I think, why I like it so much. It's just more in depth with the character. Story itself was a little low. I didn't like how it went. It was a little boring to me. Not memorable at all.
So acting, directing, and editing, Marvel solid throughout in their casting, in what the actors deliver, and how everything is directed. Now, I'm going to attribute all the negatives for plot and all that to the writing, 100% on this particular show. And I'm not gonna, because the scenes worked really well, even though there was that lack of motivation, but the scenes played out really well, the acting was really good, the editing was really good, the flow, the pacing, everything. I'm gonna have to say that it was at least a 7.5. I think they did the best they could with what they had.
I agree. I gave it a 7.5, 8, because it felt like a Marvel movie in a TV series. It was that good of quality in all their effects and the pacing and everything, and the acting was all really well done.
I mean, it's the same actors.
It's the same actors, so yeah, you're getting the same thing as the movies.
Same team, same all across. That's superior quality across the board that you would expect from Marvel Studios.
It hit the mark for that, yes.
The last two categories are visual arts and technical arts. I'm going to rate them both the same, 8 and 8. Again, same teams, executed well. The level of detail they put into everything, fantastic across the board. I mean, they've really got it down. You know, they're gonna, WandaVision kind of pushed into new areas, so it's great to see that they can do more than just what they typically do in their movies and now their shows. Loki was the same way. You know, so I'm a fan of the team.
I give it an 8.5 for both the categories because it felt just like any of the other Marvel movies and TV series. It was right on par, and I was very happy with it.
Yeah, maybe it's an 8.5 as compared to everything else, and an 8 for Marvel. I'm just kind of
being very
baselining them at 8 at this point. They're so good, I'm just going to baseline them at 8 to give them room to grow. Enough room. Wanda was, I think I rated it a little bit higher because it was a little bit above par.
It was a little different, yeah.
This was at par for MCU. I'd say overall on this one, I did enjoy it. I'm going to give it a 6.5 or a 7. You know what? I was really into it when we were watching it. I'll give it a 7. Even though the story, the plot, it was missing some very crucial pieces. Still, I'll give it a solid 7. I enjoyed watching it.
I gave it an 8. Once again, I just really enjoy seeing the backstories and the character development of those characters that I really didn't know a whole lot about from the movies and things. So
there's not enough time in the movies to do any of that.
Yeah, and so I kind of enjoyed that. But the storyline in general was kind of...
I can't even remember
really
the flashbacks for these.
Yeah,
and I can remember the ones for Wanda now, because she said it last time and I thought about it, but I'm not even pulling flashbacks up right now. In my brain, it's like...
Like Bucky, the Winter Soldier.
I already knew his flashbacks, but I guess there were more.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.